So it was my second area, and or I'm sorry, my first area with my second companion, and she'd been there for only a few days. And we got this referral through our phone. It was just a media referral, and it was a man named Richard who requested a Book of Mormon. So I was just like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I was like, oh my gosh, he was requesting it himself. Like, he's going to be baptized. And my companion, who, she was older than me in the mission, and not a pessimist in the slightest, but just trying to like bring me down to the ground, you know, just like help me see. She's like, okay, Sister Jones, this is going to be great, but I just want to prep you. Like, oftentimes these are jokes. Like, people will send these through the system, like, just to like be like, haha, my friend wants a Book of Mormon, just to play a joke on them. And she had had quite a few experiences like that. So she's like, yes, it's going to be great, but just in case, you know, like, just prepare yourself. So I was like, don't even worry about it. It's going to be awesome. So we ended up knocking on this man's door. He wasn't home. So we went and did some other appointments, and then we ended up coming back. So we go back to this man's door, and I'm just convinced that this guy is just going to be the best thing. And she's just like, hey, Catherine, like, it's going to be okay. Just get yourself down on the ground. Anyway, so we end up knocking on the door, and this man just yells in this thick New York accent. He's just like, who is it? And we're like, hey, it's the Mormon missionaries. And all of a sudden you just hear the TV turn off, and you just hear like these like really big footsteps. I'm like super scared. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so this big jolly man, he opens the door, and he has like a Lord of the Rings ponytail, like honestly white ponytail, like down to his hips. It was amazing. And he opens the door. We're so surprised. And he just like swings open his thing, and he just looks at us, and he's like, I've literally been waiting for you for 3 days. What took you so long? And we were like, what? It was amazing. So we started talking to him, and turns out he had had a random woman at a conference just say, you know I'm a Mormon, right? And it just piqued his curiosity. So he ended up going to see the Book of Mormon Musical, which was one of the greatest missionary tools that ever happened to the Los Angeles mission, which is awesome. And he bought a playbill thinking that it was a Book of Mormon. And so when he found out it was just a playbill, he's super frustrated. And so he figured out how to get one. So we came by, and it was super fascinating. So he was going out of town for 2 weeks. So we just invited him to read the Book of Mormon every day, and to pray to change for that. To pray to know whether it was true, and then pray to change, to abide by its principles. And it was just so fascinating. Like, he was just a man that was just totally ready and prepared. He comes back 2 weeks later, and he just runs into the visitor center. And we'd been in contact with him throughout those 2 weeks. We'd read the Book of Mormon with him afterwards. He just runs into the visitor center, and he's just like super loud. He's like, I need Sister Jones, I need Sister Davis. And we think somebody has died, you know, because he's just full of life, this man. But honestly, I was like, what is wrong? So we like come back from the back, and he like takes us by the shoulders. He's like, sit down, you know. So we're sitting down on this couch, and we're like, are you okay? Like, is everything all right? And he just like holds up the book, and the Book of Mormon, and he just starts bawling. And he was just like, it's true. It's totally true. And it was just so fun. It was like, yes, yes. So we started to walk him through, like, walk us through your experiences of how you got there. And so he said that every day, he's like, I took to heart what you had asked me to do. And so he said he would start with a question of anything that God wanted him to change. And then he would just like randomly like flip and then open. And so he just had these like unreal experiences. Like for example, one of them, he had struggled with alcohol in the past and had tried to quit several times. And so one of his questions was like, God, like, is this even something you expected me to quit? Because it's just been a part of me for so long, you know? Do I even need to be sober? So that was his prayer. So he closes the Book of Mormon, and he just like flips it open, and he would just start reading wherever his eyes landed. So he reads the last verse in Alma 37, which if you go look, the last 3 words are, and oh, be sober, my son. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, you can't make this stuff up. Anyway, he just had like so many powerful experiences with the Book of Mormon, and it was just so fun to see. I mean, honestly, a few weeks later, he was baptized, and our involvement in it was strictly logistical. I mean, we didn't teach him anything. He taught himself, but it was just so cool to see how God used tools that maybe don't initially promote his values in regards to like the Book of Mormon Musical or things like that, to just save people's souls. It was just so cool. So that was one of my favorite experiences that I had in LA.